All right, let's
Let's
jump into
go.
it. Hi, folks. My name is Whaley. As you know, or maybe you don't, I'm the co-founder of Teal. I'm joined by my partner, Reid Johnston. Today, Reid, we're going to be going back to Microsoft Copilot. We've taken a couple months off of Copilot and worked on some other LLMs, but today we're going to go back because there's been a lot of changes. And I think the first one we ought to talk about is pricing changes. Dum, 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 dum. Or licensing. I should call it
Yeah.
licensing, but
Yeah, this
I
is
don't know if you need to share your screen for this or you just want to talk through it, but it's a pretty significant change. So,
I yeah, I will share because I can pull up some information from Microsoft on this. So yeah, the big thing that that has changed here is Copilot Cowork has left preview and is going to be general release beginning in July. And what that really means is you're not getting it for free anymore. You got to pay for it. So in typical Microsoft fashion, a little bit slow rolling, but they get there. And basically, Copilot Chat, which is what if I pop over to Copilot Chat, this is what we're used to. We type in a prompt, get a simple response about my files, about my emails, about my meetings. Cowork is for more complicated multi-step tasks. Microsoft is going to charge for that. So for those of you that might be using Claude, there's Claude Chat, which is, free basically based on your consumption. You kind of use up your token credits until you have to stop and for a period of time. Same thing with Copilot Cowork now. It it's going to cost you. So I thought I'd share. Microsoft put out a blog post about this. See what's the date on this? June 16th. So uh, this was announced middle of June. And basically, they're talking about how this pricing model will work. And the the cost of using the AI is going to be based on kind of these four pieces: what model you use, the context you give it, the tools that it uses, and the runtime. And that will consume Copilot credits. And one credit is 1 penny unless you pre-buy them. So the part that's really fascinating about this is the cost of some of these things. So Microsoft has broken it up into light tasks, medium tasks, and heavy tasks. A light task is, something simple, a few sources, a little bit of reasoning, one simple output. Medium is a little more complicated. Heavy is a little more complicated. So to give you an idea, I had a co-work task that would look through my recent Teams messages from the last day, the last week, and kind of help me understand, do I have any outstanding things that I've been talking about with people that aren't resolved yet? Well,
I have a suspicion.
running
So,
that, yeah, running that on a daily basis, it kind of falls into this medium task bucket. It's about 500 credits. It's about $5 a day when I run that. So this is kind of a big deal because you've got people that are using these tools and really don't have any understanding of how much it costs. Well, now they're going to figure it out. So
well, yeah, they don't
what
have any understanding
Microsoft
because it hasn't costed anything.
It hasn't cost them anything. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I'll share this other post. Microsoft has a document here, Copilot Credits Guide. It's a 12-page document. And I just wanted to share, if you scroll down here, if you can get a discount on these credits after you buy about 300,000. So you get about a 5% discount, not very much. You have to commit to a year. So it's a 1 year pay up front purchase of credits. So I don't think anybody should do this yet. Do the consumption model, figure out how much it's actually costing. So the way that you do that is one of your admins has to go into the admin portal and set up pay-as-you-go billing because at the end of June, Cowork will stop working unless you've
So
got billing set up. Out of the gate, Microsoft says unlimited, sky's the limit, but you can put thresholds on it where it stops it at a certain dollar amount spent. And that's really what you should do. So,
a couple questions, Reid. I
um,
think one or two of them I can
so
answer, one or two of them you can
yeah.
answer. But the first, this isn't a question. I just want to make sure the point is made. So if you have Cowork turned on, you need to have your admin go in and turn on the change or set up the billing appropriately before you start before you get a big bill because Microsoft has turned it on by default.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you said, and maybe the
Yeah.
most important
Now we should
recommendation of
stop a
this
second.
webinar. Say it again.
Yeah. You'll only have Cowork. You'll only have Cowork enabled if you are part of the Frontier program, if you've already turned that on. So many of our clients, when I'm talking to them about this, they haven't enabled that. So we talk to them about AI all the time, but you do have to go in and turn it on. We don't just turn it on arbitrarily for our clients. They need to be part of that process. So you only have this Cowork button if you're part of the Frontier program. And for our clients that have it turned on, they are using it. So we are talking to them about, hey, this is going to come to a stop at the end of the month unless you turn on the billing process.
So that's a segue to some of the questions. So for folks that don't know, last month we did a deep dive or a high level beginning processes for Claude. But the month before that, we spent the whole 20 minutes on Cowork. So for those that are asking questions about Cowork, if you just look back at our blog at our webinars from 2 times ago, you'll see that Reid and I did an entire one on Cowork. But that said, Reid, the other question that came in that I'm going to hand off to you is the difference between Cowork and Chat and how Chat Copilot Chat pricing is changing, if at all.
Right. Yeah. Copilot Chat is not changing at all. So
Okay.
you pay a flat monthly fee for premium, which lets you use Copilot in your Microsoft apps and have grounding in your business data. You can still use Copilot Chat for free and benefit from Microsoft's enterprise data protection. You just don't get what's called grounding in your data. That's the AI's ability to look at your SharePoint, your OneDrive, your Teams meetings, and so on. So, yeah, there's no pricing change for Copilot other than Microsoft is running some promos right now where you can subscribe at a lower rate. You get Copilot Business. There's some bundle options that are available, but otherwise, there's really no change.
So last question on boring pricing, and then we can get to some a few cool things. But how how do I articulate this question so it's generic? How are we advising our clients on what types of positions should get access to co-work? Like, are we telling everybody should try co-work? I mean, we're not saying that, right?
Well, I mean, I guess for the next few days, I would encourage everyone to try it,
Okay, that's a
especially,
good point.
yeah, especially try out those complicated multi-step processes. Microsoft added a slash cost command that you can type in after Cowork does its thing, and it'll how many tokens. I didn't realize to go through my emails and to organize my stuff and output a Word document that cost me 1,000 credits. But you really need to think about, and we'll get to this a little bit later, think about, well, how much time would that have taken me to do that work,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
So yeah, so the answer now is for the next week or so, try it out. Everybody should try it. But after July 1st, I would roll it out to those users that are already very comfortable using Copilot Chat because they're already comfortable with prompting. They're already comfortable with grounding their data or grounding their prompt in their business data. Maybe they're using agent mode in Word and Excel to update documents. Uh, Cowork is really the next level of that. It's the more complicated tasks than that. So,
Understood. Good points. All right, so maybe a couple of fun things before we conclude. Right on time as usual with mindset. So I think you could leave your screen right there. I think we wanted to talk about. By the way, it looks like you need to update your browser. I think we generally recommend that to our clients. I think we want to talk about some differences in the web interface, how they've changed.
yeah. So here I'm in Copilot on the web, and I have chat, I've got Cowork, but the thing that's a little bit different is I've got this WorkIQ button now. So people ask, well, what is WorkIQ? WorkIQ is really the evolution of grounding in your business data. So what I mean by that is traditionally, if I'm in something like uh, the researcher agent, or if I'm in Teams and I've selected Copilot, I can pick what sources I want. I can pick I want it to look at my chats, my emails, my meetings. What WorkIQ does is the AI agent will do that for me. So I don't have to pick what sources. It actually looks at the prompt that I gave it and it picks the sources for me. So I can turn it off where it's not going to try to ground in my data at all, or I can
But
turn it
that's like
on.
that's before. I can't remember what it said before, but that's where you're only looking at the internet.
Sort of. Yeah, sort of. Now they moved that too. So it used to be, I think you're thinking about web and work that used to be in
Yes,
the middle of the
yes,
screen. Well,
exactly.
now the web search moved over to the settings menu. There's a web search toggle right here. So whether I have WorkIQ turned on or not, I can choose. I guess I can't. So that's different even than when I looked at it a while ago. So if WorkIQ is off, now I'm only looking out to the web. If WorkIQ is turned on, now I have the option of toggling, do I want web search on or off? So they keep moving things around. It's crazy.
You know that they do move it around. That's a little frustrating and confusing, but the logic behind it is very intuitive, right?
Yeah. So
When
so
you're
the
looking
idea
at work,
is
do you want the web or don't you? If you're not looking at work, you just want the web.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's work IQ.
Now, this is sort of a question we weren't going to get today, but since it was asked, I'll just ask you. Let's say you have a third party integration like HubSpot. How do you turn that on?
Yeah. So when you're in here, you've got you can use the slash command, and the slash command is going to give you access to your files, your emails, your sites, and so on. You to access like a HubSpot agent or an integration, that's where you can use that at sign. And now I have access to
So
some of
those
the
are the
different.
ones you have access to.
Yeah, yep. These are agents that I've built or that we've published in our environment. Um, that's how I can access those
It's
agents.
weird that
Yeah.
you don't have HubSpot there.
I don't think I have. Oh, there it is. Way at the
Oh,
bottom.
you do have it. Okay.
Yeah. So I can add HubSpot, and now it's going to include HubSpot as a tool in my prompt.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, they
Yeah.
moved that too then.
Yeah.
All right, so sort of sorry to sidetrack you there. Did we want to talk a little bit about the different models?
Yeah, for sure. Let's do that. So they moved that too. There used to be a drop down in the upper right-hand corner that said auto. Well, now it's in the upper left-hand corner. Okay. So when I select auto, I can pick, do I want an Anthropic model like Claude Opus, or do I want an OpenAI model like GPT-5, 5, or 5.2? The default is auto. Generally, for most use cases, I tell people to leave it on auto. But if you're if you have a complicated prompt or you really want it to think, then I'll select Think Deeper. I don't personally worry too much about what model I'm using, except for within the researcher agent. So let's look at that. Because the researcher agent has this cool thing called Model Counsel, where
Oh,
what it does is it takes your prompt and it feeds it into an OpenAI model and it feeds it into an Anthropic model. So you get two outputs and then it compares those two outputs. So I did that. We're not going to wait for it here. I ran it before uh, this webinar. Let me open this up here. Sometimes it takes a second. Of course, we're
can
doing
I
this
ask a
live. And
question? A couple questions that have come in.
go ahead.
I'm not going to say the names because you might know the second name, but as it relates to the pricing that we started this webinar with, is there any pricing impact on models?
No,
So
it's
if
not
you
really by model, other than a more advanced model is going to consume credits faster.
so there is an
Where,
impact.
yeah, there is somewhat of an impact, but I don't know the exact science behind it. It's probably described in that document that I pulled up on the screen earlier.
Okay,
Um,
and we'll send that out. We'll send that out.
yeah, we can send that out because
So the
that's
other one before you get to this, and this
straight
is the one
from
I'm
the
not
horse's
going to name
mouth.
names. How do you get Fable 5 access?
Yeah, you don't. You don't. The government put the kibosh on that. So it was available for a while from Anthropic, and there's a lot of rumors flying around about it, but it's not available right now. And
After this,
Anthropic,
you take guesses on who asked that question. But yeah,
sure.
good answer. You got it right. Somebody was testing you. So
Yeah.
Fable, not able yet. But you're going to show the differences in the
Yeah. So here in the researcher agent, I took just a sample spreadsheet and I said, give me a comprehensive analysis. Just tell me what I need to know. Tell me the important points. And this is just a spreadsheet of sample financial data. Researcher asked me some questions. I just said, go ahead. And because I selected this model counsel, it ran it through GPT and Claude. So I could click on either one of these and it's going to show me the output. So here it's got summary level information, some highlights, notable outliers. I could select Claude and see the output from Claude as well. So it's going to give me obviously similar data because it's looking at the same data set. But you can see here that Claude, a little bit more graphics, a little bit more detail. If I go back over to my output here, it's comparing the two. So it's saying, both they underscore some information, and then I can scroll down. It explains what Claude found, what GPT found, areas of alignment where GPT and Claude sort of agreed. It's going to show me farther down where they disagreed. So basically, what this is like doing is putting a prompt in to one system, putting a prompt into the other system, manually taking those two outputs, putting it in again, and asking for a comparison. So pretty neat. Pretty
that's
neat.
awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the model console. But generally, back to my original point, generally I leave it on auto. If I'm doing something complicated, I'll ask for the extended thinking generally. And this drop down that you see here, depending on where you are, it's different in each system. It's different in chat than it will be in researcher, than it will be in
Oh, that's a good
Excel, than
point.
it will be in Word. So just keep that in mind. It's not all the same.
So really running out of time here. We want to get to mindset as the last thing that we advise our clients on. But you just said something that raised another question, which is for Copilot specifically, Microsoft Copilot, which version are you working in? Web, the app, Teams? Like what is your preferred tool?
I mean, for me personally, I'm in Teams all day, as you know.
How would I know that?
I don't know. But I'm in Teams all day, so I've got Copilot on my sidebar, and I use Copilot just like I jump into different chats, just like I'm jumping into files. I really use Teams, the Teams app on my computer, to spend a lot of my time collaborating with our team. But if if you want to use it on the web, totally fine. It's going to look a little bit because in Teams here,
Hey,
so
Reid, can you stop
it looks a
sharing
little
because you're
different.
having a little bit of a bandwidth problem?
Oh, sorry. There
Yeah,
we go.
good. You were saying, but
I'm
if
back.
you were saying something about the web, yeah, you were saying
Yeah,
something about the
if
web.
you're on the web or if you're in Teams, it may look a little bit different, but you have access to the same chat history. So whether I'm on mobile or whether I'm on Teams or whether I'm on web, I can start a conversation with Copilot and I can continue it on another device, which I happen to like because I've always got my cell phone in my hand, it feels like. So yeah.
So for you, the short answer is you're generally in Teams. You use it in Teams, but with the web, there's some advantage to that, and people should just like we advise most people, use a tool that makes you the most efficient, the most effective. Last thing,
Absolutely.
and we'll be brief about it, is we want to talk about an AI first mindset. I don't think you have to
Mhm.
share your screen for this, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So what do you mean when you're advising our clients on AI first mindset?
Yeah. So I think about the task that I'm doing. Is this something that I could do with AI? It may take me longer the first time I try to accomplish it with AI, but especially if it's a task that I'm going to do again in the future, is it something that I can create a prompt for this, or I could create an agent, or I could create a workflow? I mean, there's different ways to apply it. But any task that I'm doing, I'm thinking to myself, could I do part of it with AI or could I accomplish all of it with AI? And we all know like what AI slop looks like, right? You get a document that is just like a 5-page document that really only needed to be a 1-page document. It's not really that. I'm not trying to output more, but I'm trying to use the tools at my disposal. And even if it takes a little bit longer now, to save time in the future, I'm trying to use AI to do it, and I'm using the different systems, whether it's Copilot or Claude, anything that's approved by our organization. I'm testing to understand, can it help my workflow?
There's almost nothing today that I don't start with AI. In fact, this webinar, the way we started the process is we usually jump on a quick call and say, hey, what's cool? What should we talk about this time? Instead, this time I had AI, I had Copilot go back through all of our webinars and tell me all the topics we've done and suggest some new ones. And I thought it was perfect. And then I got on the call with you, and you're like, we must talk about pricing. It's the most significant change.
Yeah,
But then when I,
but
but then
think about
Copilot told us to talk about that too.
yeah, but think about like the amount of time that you saved by doing that. You would have had to go through
Yeah.
each
Oh, yeah.
transcript or each write up and then make a new document tallying everything up. You were able to run a prompt, let it go do its thing while you did something else, and then it output a nice document that we were able to quickly review to determine what we wanted to talk about. And now you've saved that. So now it's going to be faster next time, right?
Right. With that said, we're a little bit over. Folks, thanks so much for joining. We'll send out the video with any attachments. Brittany and Caden will do that in the next couple of days. Reid, thanks for joining. Folks, we're a little bit sorry about Reid's bandwidth, but Minnesota's Minnesota,
That's right.
and we'll do better next time. But thanks for joining, Reid. Thanks for sharing all your
Yeah,
philosophies and thoughts and cool
you
ideas.
bet. Absolutely.
See you, bud.
Bye-bye.